In news this week, surprising statistics for Aussie churches. Priests told they're not needed in Antarctica. And evangelism goes extreme.
This is InFocus Christian news and current affairs.
New World Vision research comparing the views of the Australian community with those of active churchgoers has highlighted gaps in understanding and suggests room for improvement. In looking at a series of social and public issues, it was clear that the community is much more concerned about drug issues than the Christian leaders and churchgoers surveyed. On the other hand, while the Christians clearly felt the church should be heavily engaged in refugee and other human rights issues, the community respondents were much less enthusiastic about the churches being involved. The research suggests the average Australian sees very little need for involvement in church life and is more concerned about their finances, health, relationships and addictions. Council regulations in New South Wales' mid-north coast are threatening to close down a Christian health retreat that has operated successfully for some years. According to the Macleay Argus, the Misty Mountain Health Retreat has been told it is running tourist accommodation without proper approval and will have to close its doors by the end of October. The owners of the retreat, who are Seventh-day Adventists, say that for the last 14 years their focus has been on educating people about biblical health principles and that the site, a former school, has planning approval for educational purposes. Although the Land and Environmental Court has ruled against Misty Mountains, the owners are hopeful of getting a change of use approved before the deadline arrives. It's one of the most remote parishes in the world, and even there it seems interest in religion is waning. According to The Guardian, the number of priests needed in Antarctica has dwindled to just one. Since 1957, the Catholic Diocese of Christchurch in New Zealand has provided up to 5 priests to minister to the spiritual needs of isolated researchers. But as the number of personnel needed in Antarctica decreases and as communications improve, the American McMurdo base is saying they won't need a priest this summer. For many Australians, hiking the arduous Kokoda track in Papua New Guinea is a fitting way to remember the sacrifices made there by Aussie diggers during World War II. But for many Seventh-day Adventist villagers along the track, as well as the local tour guides and porters, the non-stop flow of visitors makes it difficult to take out a day of rest and worship. A new tour company, however, has decided to honour local beliefs and allow space to rest and worship during the Sabbath hours. The Snedden family from New South Wales Central Coast say they're not particularly religious, but they want to support their partners in the new enterprise, Kokoda Friendship Tours. The new company has also been distributing gifts of Bibles and hymn books in the villages. Every year around the world, about 280,000 women die during pregnancy or childbirth. It's a situation that has prompted a unique partnership between the World Health Organization and the Seventh-day Adventist Church. After realizing the extent of the Adventist Church's global network of health and education institutions, the WHO began pushing for the Church to take the lead role in training midwives, health workers whose work means the difference between life and death. According to Adventist Review, the training will begin at 4 medical centres in Africa, where maternal mortality statistics are particularly poor. Not long after 1915, Australian Adventist pastor and nurse Eric B. Hare was one of the first missionaries to venture into the Southeast Asian country of Burma. Today, about a quarter of the Karen minority ethnic group are Christians, but due to persecutions, many have fled the country as refugees. A celebration of 100 years of Adventist mission among the Karen was held in Michigan recently, with 600 people from around the US and other countries in attendance. Eric Hare's daughter Esther, at 94 years old, was a guest of honour.
It's very thrilling, and I'm absolutely amazed at how much these folks are friendly and loving. They're so excited to see relatives of the Hares.
Christian evangelists are known to resort to attention-grabbing stunts from time to time, but it's not too often they involve being locked in a box and submerged in water or dropped from a plane. Anthony Martin is an accomplished escape artist who says only Jesus can release humans from the eternal death grip they're in. He talks to audiences about conquering their fears and tells them God can use their unique set of personality and talents.
The Word of God says it is appointed unto man once to die and then the judgment. There's one thing I can't escape from, and there's one thing you can't escape from. That's the reality of death.
That's it for this week's news. For other segments in the full half hour of Record in Focus, visit our website, record.net.au. You can also see the programme on Hope Channel, Foxtel's Australian Christian Channel, and Digital 44 in Adelaide. Until next week, all the best and God bless.